Right now, Metro ABC and LMPD, they are investigating a Louisville private lounge after 4 people were shot there over the weekend. The victims' ages range between 17 to 21. Investigators say that one person is in critical condition. Wave News reporter Kirsten Foote shares how officials in the area say something needs to happen.
Metro Councilwoman Josie Raymond, who lives right near this business, tells me that neighbors had concerns when they learned a private lounge was coming to their area. She says this shooting has only added to that concern.
Details into the shooting are still unclear, like what led up to the shooting or how many suspects there could be. No one has been charged with the shooting, but the bar's owner, James Connor, was arrested. LMPD says he violated the terms of a domestic violence order, which prevents him from having a firearm. He was not charged in the shooting. Alcoholic Beverage Control has issued an emergency suspension for the lounge's liquor license, but Councilwoman Josie Raymond says that needs to be permanent.
It's worth Metro Council looking at the zoning rules and the ordinances surrounding private clubs to make sure that these can operate safely in our communities and that they can have the sort of oversight that we expect of every other bar and restaurant. And I'll say, when it comes to the Lenny's Lounge on Klondike Lane, shut it down. I'm calling on ABC to not renew their license so that they can never reopen.
The investigation is ongoing, and we'll keep you updated as we learn more details. Reporting in the Klondike neighborhood, Kirsten Foote. Wait.